Hello everyone, thanks very much for joining me. I'm Dean, this is Woodwork Journey, and this is the start of 7 days of dovetails. Now this isn't a 7-day series, I'll tell you a little bit more right after the intro. Let's get it going! Alrighty, so the plan is, this is the plan, everything is fluid and it may change because I have no idea what I'm doing. So, I watched a video a few days ago, was going to watch one this morning, forgot all about it, didn't. Anyway, I watched a video, I think from Matt Eastley, a few days ago, and about cutting dovetails. So I'm going to try and remember stuff and do what I can. Now today is day one. My plan is to kind of record and take you through the process today, and if I make mistakes then I make mistakes, but we'll figure out where we're at the end. I say if, as though there's a chance that I might not make mistakes. I'm gonna make mistakes, but hopefully the plan is that then I will record various days through the week. And one of the things that I've got in this box, still sealed, is a dovetail cutting jig that was 35 quid on Amazon. I don't know if it's going to be any good, but I bought it, and we'll see if it works. But I want to have a go completely by eye, if you like, or try to figure it out by myself today, and then we will see how that goes. Then we'll do a video using that, maybe in the middle of the 7 days, and then I'll do another video at the end showing the results and what I've learned during the process. Hopefully we can come out of this with better dovetails, but I'm imagining a lot of people will be screaming at the computer or the TV, whatever you're watching this on today, because I imagine I'm going to make a number of mistakes. But let's get on with it and we'll see what we can do, shall we? I'm quite scared. So I wasn't going to do an intro like this. However, the video you're about to watch is not for the faint of heart. This is some grade A level dodgy woodwork. But the reason I'm publishing it is it's day one of 7 days of dovetails, and I make a lot of mistakes on this, and hopefully you're going to learn from those. And also it's great just to show sometimes you don't really have any idea, and that you got to make things up as you go along. And that's exactly what we've done with this video. So hopefully you'll find this entertaining, if nothing else. And right at the end of it, it's so bad. They're really, really bad. But yeah, hopefully you'll enjoy it. So stick around. And like I said, day one, we all got to start somewhere. And so showing that I thought was a good thing. Okay, let's get on with it. Okay, so there might not be a whole bunch of different camera angles for this because I'm trying to concentrate on what I'm doing rather than just making a really pretty video. So I hope you can bear with me on that one. And I'm also going to try and keep what I film to a minimum so you know what I'm doing, but it's not to... Anyway, let's get into it. Things that I've got ready. I've got a marking knife. This one that I made a little while ago. So we'll see if how that goes. I've got a thin, fine tip Sharpie as well as a pencil. I've got a cheap marking gauge thingamajig. This was a cheapie, it's not one of these posh Veritas nonsense ones. And I tell you what, the blade on this also spins, and I believe they're not supposed to. Someone can let me know in the comments about that. But yeah, we've got one of those. We've also got a homemade angle gauge, which I've set to 1/6. And the way I've done that is quite simple, really. We measure 1 inch across here, we measure 6 inches up there, we then draw a line connecting the 1 inch mark to the height of the 6 inches, and then I've got this that's going to sit on top of the joint, and that will follow the angle. So that's that. Hopefully you're with me so far. So the plan is to try and figure out what the hell we're going to do. So I imagine what we've got to worry about to start with is these two bits of wood come from the same piece. Can't remember which way up they were, but alrighty, so we've got to go the right length. So I'm going to stack it up like so. No, I'm not. I'm going to stack it up like so, and I'm going to leave just a little bit on the edge there. So we get this, Oh, I think Matt Eastley said that you kind of you get the thickness of your Ujimi flippy like that, and then rather than being right on the end, you take the measuring thing just past the thickness of the wood, and that way you'll have that ever so slight overhang, so you can plane the ends off and get a really nice finish. So right, so that's what we've done there. So in there, we don't go too hard to start with, I believe. Yeah, that's I can feel something there. I will show you what this looks like when I've finished. I don't think you do it on both sides. I've just realised I think this is only on the ones on like the side that you're not going to see, but I'm going to do it on both because we can, this is my first one. So we'll see if it gives us any benefits or highlights any issues that we may make. Alrighty, so hopefully you can see, if I get it on the right light, you can see the line there, which is just sort of poking through over there. So that is our baseline. I guess we have to do the same on this one as well. You know, as always, I am not thinking about this ahead of time. It was a few days ago or a week ago when I watched the video on how to cut them. So I'm trying to see how much information I've retained, which, you know, may not be very much. I will leave a link to the Matt Eastley video, and I'll get one from Paul Sellers as well. They're both quite lengthy videos, but definitely worth a watch. So next, I believe we have to worry about the tails. Is it the tails? And people use kind of like a compass and all that sort of stuff to be able to get this just spaced nicely. I think what we'll do is we'll just, let me put my specs on, half a centimetre, so 5 mil in on each side. I can't do maths. Let's go with, how big do we're just making things up, aren't we? So some of that, so that's 1, 2, 1, 2, like that there, another half a millimetre, 1, 2. Right, so those are not, that's not pretty, but do you know what? I don't care today, because we're not looking at pretty, we're looking at cutting dovetails. We could make this middle one just a chunky boy, couldn't we? So if we do, I'm very sorry if I'm annoying you already, but you know what it's like. Sometimes you don't want to learn things properly, you just want to get doing. Right, and 5 mil again there. So what you can see is we've got a line there, 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 and there. That means this middle one is going to be a little bit larger than the others, but I'm okay with that. So now we need to keep those, so we're going to get rid of that bit, that bit, that bit, and that bit. Now I can't remember if you're supposed to mark the inside or the outside, but we'll in. There you go. Right, so that's what we've got going on there. So now we use the 1 in 6, whoop, dropping things. Use the 1 in 6 thing to do that, I think. That's that there. Line that up. I suppose I need to be doing this with the marking knife again. Oops. Okay, so to me that doesn't look great, but you know, that might be okay. So I guess now in the vise, cutting these at those kind of angles. What I'll do off camera is I'll just draw the lines on the back with the Sharpie, just so you can see what I'm doing and you can see how bad my sawing technique is. Right, 2 seconds. Right, so I'm using my Japanese Ryoba saw. I think there's a Dozuki, I think, which is supposed to be used for dovetails when it comes to these kind of things, but I don't have one, so this is what we're going to go with. So I mean, again, this is not, clearly I'm no professional, but I think the idea is to kind of go straight down to begin with and then kind of bring that in a little bit. I can't see already. I'm very scared. Ah, you're supposed to cut ever so slightly in, aren't you? Okay, so I think we can safely assume that that is not a great sawing technique, but you know, we'll have to see if any of the others help. I'll get banging on with those ones. One thing I do here is that once you cut one angle, you stick with that angle and then you do all the other cuts on the other angle for muscle memory. I think that's a Matt Eastley thing. Why did I pick a hardwood to do this with? This is, oh my goodness, oh my word. Oh, this is so ugly. I'm having problems. Right, let's see if this saw will do the trick. Put a bit of candle wax on it. See if that helps. Okay, I think the benefit of the Dozuki would be having this sort of spine to stop the blade curving. So I think we've learned something already. The thinness of a Ryobi and the fact that it does that kind of stuff means that it's easier to go off course. Whereas with something like this, because you've got the spine stopping it or doing all that bending, it's harder to go off course. That's what I'm thinking, and I'm sticking with it. It gets very snug in there. Right, well, I think this cut went better than the other two because of the wandering. So this is already going to be ugly, but we'll carry on with this saw. I just don't like a push saw because for my silly body, it's just harder. I would prefer to be able to pull it. It seems to want to grab the saw. What am I doing wrong there? Answers on a postcard. Right, well, that wasn't on the line. Right, so this is definitely gonna, hopefully this better get better over the course of the next 7 days. Right, that one went slightly off. I'm really struggling with this saw. It just keeps binding. So if you do know why this would be the case, is it because, I mean, it doesn't feel blunt, but yeah, if you do know, please write down in the comments, what am I doing wrong? It's like it's getting hot and expanding in the joint, you know? Maybe it's just completely the wrong type of saw, I don't know. But this is why it's Woodwork Journey and not Woodwork Answers, like I've said before. Why is it so hard? That's what she said. Tell me you're on day one of cutting dovetails without telling me you're on day one of cutting dovetails. So this was the one that I was using with the Japanese saw, which I preferred the cutting action to, but the blade was so flexible, it means that it kind of, you can really see it on this one. It just kind of has bent round, so it's made it a nightmare. I've got a much straighter cut with the other saw, but the binding was making it really difficult to guide. And so, as you can see, like here, I kind of went off the line quite substantially, and I think I did there as well. Yeah, there's the line on the other side of the bit that I did. So, not ideal, but you know, we're starting. So now we've got to hoss out the middle bits. Okay, I believe this is a fret saw as opposed, no, I believe this is a coping saw as opposed to a fret saw. So the blade is a little bit thicker, but this is what I got, so this is what I'm going to try and use. So let's see if we can cut into things. Not going as well as I'd hoped. This cheapy saw just doesn't want to really kind of get any tension to it, and it's super easy to move. It's not about the tools, Dean. Bad workman blames his tools. Should I just chisel these out? This bloody, don't buy one of these. Don't buy. I like Draper stuff, but this is shit. The blade is seems to be bending already. There's just no. Can you see that moving? If I do that, like that handle just moves without the rest of it really moving. This is a nightmare. Don't know what I'm going to do about this for the rest of the week, but we'll see. We'll figure it out. Right, I'm going to leave that ugly like that. So now I'm going to cut with this saw straight down here and hope that takes the edges off, and we'll tidy up the insides of what I just did with a chisel. See, it's binding already. I've only just started. Why? Why is that happening? Put some more wax on it, see if that helps. Okay, so this is where we're at so far. We can see that the angles are wrong here. We've got this to clean out. Oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make this a short video. Right, let's get the chisel into this and see what we can do there. Thought I was recording, turns out I wasn't. Basically, I just went halfway through in the gap and then halfway through in the gap coming back that way, and that's given me a reasonably okay finish. But I'm going to just try and pare this down to make it a little bit tidier. Really trying hard not to go all the way through because it'll chip out, but it is what it is. Okay, so I feel that that is not enough tidying up going on there at all, but in the interest of speed for this video, I'm going to carry on moving forward and we'll worry about the other side. Now, I think the one thing that is suggested is to pop a little line across here, and that way when you're butting up against the other bit of wood, you can make sure that it's all nice and straight. This is on the inside section. Feel some kind of hold down would be a good idea at this point in time. Hang on, yes, this is on the inside. I have damaged that hard. But now, in theory, yeah, if that was a little bit deeper, that would hold that nicely. Okay, so in an ideal world, that would be held up on the other end like that. Ah, this is where one of those double-sided blades would be useful. I moved it. Ah, oh, devastating. Devastating. I can use that, can't I? But yeah, well, I got the kind of the rough lines going on there. Let's get cutting. Let's get marking that a little bit deeper first, and then let's get cutting. Okay, and that one's gone, that one's gone, and that one's gone. Alrighty ho, let's use the dodgy saw again. Oh, no. Why is it coming off? Should I be... Is sawing the right thing to do at this point? I don't know. Tell you what I haven't done. I didn't mark vertical lines like, which I possibly should have done. So we have that there, I think. And then that needs to go down. Holding down the wood when you're doing this would be good. But in my defence, I am trying to get it on camera as well, which is not as easy as you might think. I'm failing, but I'm trying. I know you can't see the vertical lines that I've just done, but I can. Do everything hand sawing, Dean, that's the way forward. It's not good on the back when you've got bloody a knackered spine, I'll tell you that for nothing. It's the melted wax that I just put on it because it's getting so hot. Right, I messed that up, that's too much of an angle there, but never mind. Okay, so now I've got to hog out all of this sort of stuff. Do I use the fret saw again, or do I use a chisel? I could just use a chisel, couldn't I? Right, I'm going to see if that chisel's just a bit wide for that one, which tells me we're going to have problems later. That one will do. We can already tell that things are not going to go well. Just in case you weren't aware from the start. Alright, so these are the sort of bits that we've got to get out. I still don't know the best way of doing this. I should have paid more attention. But I think what I remember seeing is you go out slightly that way, you know, and you hold it this way, so your eyesight shows whether you're going straight down or not. And again. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. Let's try going in from the other side now. Oh, we've broken through there, which I guess is a good thing. So by going straight down like that, I think that now we'll be able to pick these off fairly easily. Right, yeah, you see, bit of super glue on that, I think. That's not even on the in. Is it on the in? I don't know. Bit of super glue on that, I think. We'll see if that fixes that. But let's try a bit of pairing. Right, so I think we can safely say that we are not looking great. But I'm going to get some super glue on that. I'm also going to throw through or quickly bang through these ones in a similar sort of fashion. And then, yeah, we'll have a look and see how bad everything is. Okay, so this is pretty much what I thought was going to happen, and they are all absolutely vile. They're very, very unpleasant. For some reason, under here, I managed to create some voids in the wood. I don't really know how I managed to do that, considering it's solid wood, but that's happened. It just all looks very ugly. It does look very ugly, to be fair. But you know, it's not good when you don't know if it's the right way up, because it's so far away from fitting. Well, I mean, to be fair, no, there's no to be fair about it. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of close. Yeah, I think we can safely say they're not what you'd call snug. Oh my word. Day one. Okay, so I think we can safely say that this is the ugliest joint in the universe. You know these YouTubers that say, oh, it's my first time doing this, and then they just nail it on the first try. Well, I don't think I could have made it any worse. Oh my word. Right, so that is where we're starting from. That is day one. I think we can safely say that we're not going to make it any worse than day one. So yeah, that's that. I mean, if I hammer it in a little bit more, will that help? Of course it won't. Why is it creaking? Oh, that's so bad. Oh dear, I'm all hot and bothered now. So what have we learned? Apart from I can't do dovetails at the moment, we have learned that day one doesn't make a difference if you royally cock it up, because that's exactly what we've done. We've also learned that it's important to do your research. So I'm going to be going and watching a dovetail video or two this evening. So there's that. There's also, what have we learned? Having a spine on the saw helps. And so while I absolutely adore this saw and I use it for a million things, dovetailing is not going to be one of them. If I can get one of the Dozuki ones, then I will happily use that. But yeah, so we've got to figure that out. But I think, now you feel free to argue with me if you feel differently, but I think what we've got problems with is the marking and the accuracy of the cutting. So what we need to do is we need to, on the next one, what I'm going to try and do is sort of cut on the waist side of the line. I didn't really do that with this. Surprise, how would you know? But yeah, so it's there's even gaps under there. How is there gaps there? So yeah, so I need to cut on the waist side of a line and try and kind of, you know, see where we go. But that is day one. So if you're a bit shit with dovetails or are afraid to try, it's unlikely to be much worse than this. But I hope I hope you found this one entertaining, if nothing else. So what I'll do next is crack on tomorrow, or with the next day I get in here, to do a I mean, it holds, it's not going anywhere. I will come in and do another one, and then I'll try, my first port of call will be to cut only on the waist side, and away you go. But in the meantime, I'm also going to watch a video or two, and we'll see where we go from there. But I hope you found this entertaining, and I hope you catch up on the next one to see what I've learned and if I'm getting any better. Really hope so. Oh dear. Right. Sorry, Dad. I imagine that I've made you ashamed of me. Right. I will speak to you all next time with hopefully a better joint.